The scene in Portapique, Nova Scotia, where people paid tribute to the 22 victims of last weekend's violence. The old church is what that place is called, and it now is a shrine. Hashtag Nova Scotia Strong. Adorned there, the fences with messages of support and flowers and all sorts of condolences to the families of the loved ones and those lost. And the man who's organized it says put markers so that people can mourn at a safe distance, COVID-19, grieve together while staying protected. The man who organized that memorial is also the co-organizer of the virtual vigil that we've been talking about so much this morning. So, Cees Vanden Hoek, we say good morning to you in Lower Debert, Nova Scotia. Thank you for being my guest this morning.
Thank you.
We've been running Colleen Jones' report this morning, so we've seen you outside as you get that memorial going and speak to the people who are leaving their messages, and I'm delighted to be able to talk to you about this in a little bit more detail. I know you started planning the vigil. It seemed to me we were talking about it, at the very beginning of the week, so almost immediately after the violence happened. Why, Cees?
Well, after everything was happening Sunday morning, I just felt helpless. I was home basically pacing back and forth, walking around in circles, not knowing what to do and feeling the need to do something.
And this is what you've done. And it is a vigil that started as a virtual vigil. I don't know what you had in mind, but now it has grown into a total national commemoration. How do you feel about that? It's quite incredible. We really had no idea that it would take off like this. We just wanted to do something that would bring a level of comfort to so many people out there that were hurting and needed a way to be part of something, to gather essentially, since we cannot do it physically. And there is what we're seeing. Sort of a title page and some of the details online. As I'm speaking to you, Cees, we're looking at how it shows up on the computer. Nova Scotia Remembers. What exactly is the program going to cover and include?
It's going to be great people have stepped up to support us. It's amazing the people that have stepped up. We have a great. It's a great lineup. It's a mix of musicians, politicians,
faith leaders?
It's a really good mix. Sorry?
Faith leaders as well, where there'll be some spiritual component, yes?
Yeah, be some spiritual aspects as well. It's quite a time, so we really want to try to include as many groups as possible.
So I don't know if you're keeping it secret. I do know that I have some details that you gave our producer here on the morning show, our producer Sonia, that the Prime Minister will have a role in all of this. We got that confirmed from the PMO, correct?
I might have heard some rumors like that, yes.
Okay, and as far as musicians, maybe you'll say you've heard these rumors too. And the Stanfields, they're going to take part, very prominent Halifax rock band. Might have you heard rumors to that effect too?
I might have, yes, and one other local, Jonathan Torrens, has stepped up well, which is really cool. He's a pretty local fella around here.
And so well known, part of our CBC family, of course. And then when you think about the Stanfields, just in case people in the rest of Canada haven't heard of them, Halifax band, and Stay the Blazes Home is their song, which of course became the rallying cry when your Premier, Stephen McNeil, used that in reference to physical distancing and COVID-19, and there are T-shirts now, and it's kitchen party material. So you're kind of bringing everything together by having them in the vigil. I'm wondering if any of the families have either conveyed their wishes for what you talk about, or whether they are going to be taking part in any way, Cees?
I can't really say too much in that respect. We have gotten quite a bit of support from the families. We don't want to put too much on them, right? A few of them are reaching out to us, but we don't. They're in a horrific situation right now.
Yes.
So we just want them to know that there's a huge following of people that are standing there and trying to share some of this with them.
What effect, apart from that, to the families directly, but perhaps more broadly, what effect do you hope the vigil has tonight for everyone watching?
I hope it brings, well, it's a real tough situation. So many people have so much pain. We're just trying to be a bit of an outlet. We can offer positive messages and comfort each other as much as we possibly can.
And you mentioned at the outset of our conversation how you felt on Sunday. And when we heard you speaking to Colleen yesterday, there was still a lot of emotion as you talked about the memorial that you have outside your home. But I don't know whether things have changed for you over the week. How would you say this has affected you personally, Cees?
I'm thankful that I have something to focus on. A lot of people are just, pacing back and forth. I'm just happy that I can somehow be an outlet for some of those folks to process some of this. And maybe those families, this is kind of what I'm doing is far from their mind, but maybe a year, 5 years that they'll look back and say, so many people tried to be there for us, and I hope that someday it will help them in some little way.
Thank you for telling us about the event tonight. Still some surprises, obviously, for what people will see, and for sharing your sentiment in all of this. Really appreciate meeting you, Cees.
Thank you.
Cees van Hoek, who is one of the co-organizers of the vigil tonight. And as we were discussing, it began something online. It has grown to a national broadcast, which you will see on CBC. Special coverage called Nova Scotia Remembers. And Tom Murphy will host that. Tom's actually going to be here with me in just about 15 minutes to look ahead to that. But if you're in Atlantic Canada, you can watch on CBC Television at 7 p.m. Atlantic, 6 p.m. Eastern across the country on CBC News Network, and on all of our online and streaming platforms as well.